Hey folks, Chip Dick here with AirSight. Welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do a little bit something different today. I'm going to do an interview with one of our channel partners. So let me bring on Drew Weston. Drew, how are you today?
Doing well yourself.
Man, if I was doing any better, I don't know what I would do. Drew's one of our partners, works with MCA. Drew, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your background.
Certainly. Yes, thank you, Chip. My name's Drew Weston. As Chip said, I'm with MCA. You notice the CodeLynx shirt. I'm actually 1 foot in CodeLynx, 1 foot in MCA. CodeLynx is the defense contracting arm of MCA. So I'm one of a couple of people that straddle the fence between the federal side of the business and the state, local, and commercial side. MCA, we're a large integrator for radio security and data solutions. And obviously, got to know Chip and the AirSight team from the security side of the house. Been a partner now for a couple of years and worked on some cool projects with y'all.
Well, Drew, it's good to have you today. I'm glad you've got
Thank
your code links on your shirt on, because there's a couple things that I think made you guys very attractive to us in the partnership, and one of them was the code links and the MCA and how they combine together. You mentioned that that's part of the contracting. Tell me some of those contracting vehicles that I know we use, but that you're able to offer via code links.
Absolutely. So CodeLynx being the federal government contracting side, we have GSA contracts. We have DCA approved and DCMA approved accounting systems, higher levels of cybersecurity if you're familiar with CMMC. So we bring all that stuff into the CodeLynx ring fence, as we call it, whereas the corporate entity doesn't have to comply with all the, if you're familiar with all the FAR and DFAR, which Chip, I know in your prior life, you probably are. There's a lot more that goes to it from a compliance standpoint. So on that side, we kind of keep those in one group. Whereas on the MCA side, we do a lot more state local contracting. So we've got some large cooperative purchasing contracts like the NASPO Value Point, the Texas DIR, various contracts like that, NCASA, the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, which are national cooperative purchasing contracts that we use for state and local. We've even got some, particularly as it relates to healthcare, some healthcare cooperative contracts that we use frequently for security and radio solutions.
And the shorter answer for both me and you is that gives some quick capabilities of getting people into drone detection by using those, so they don't have to go out and do an extensive bid process, because those are already on contract. Um, Tell us a little bit more about that MCA footprint. How big are you guys? Because I know you're pretty good size and create a pretty good footprint for us.
Yeah, so as you've seen, as the time we've been working with AirSight, we've grown substantially. MCA has north of 100 brick and mortar locations now in 23 states. Basically, if you look at a map of the U.S. and go from New Mexico up to Illinois, over to Pennsylvania, and down to Florida, that's kind of the footprint that MCA is today. But depending on when this video is published and what our M&A team has done, maybe it's going to be a different amount based on the time that we actually have this published. So
Could
always
change.
interesting to
Yeah,
see what that team's doing.
could change yet again. Well,
Absolutely.
it's obvious, the partnerships are critical to us. It's a force multiplier for us. But why would MCA choose AirSight to partner with?
So one of the things that was really intriguing to us is that the agnostic approach. So you'll work with the best of breed technology that's out there. So obviously, for those of us that know the Counter-UAS space, looking at something that has all three layers. So you've got RF, you've got detect, you've got all the way up to radar inclusion, and then you've got signal direction, kind of looking at more layer two. So that was important, but then not being tied to a specific product. I know a lot of folks that used to be very DJI Aeroscope centric. I know you can use that, but that's not what you're limited to. So being able to bring in those different systems, as I tell everybody, we are a systems integrator. I may not know what a particular end user has or what their preference is for a radar technology or an RF technology or whatever it happens to be. So being able to ingest all of those and share that information, that was critically important to us as we started looking at who we're going to partner with for counter UAS solutions.
Well, and you make a good point. I think that has been what our success has been, kind of circled around, is to be able to be a multi-layer approach and not a one size fits all. I know there are
Absolutely.
some of our competitors out there that are a little bit more one size fits all, but I think that does give us the versatility. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there are gonna be places where it's zero mission failure, that it has to work. All right, cool. I need radar. I need RF. I need everything out there. Just having a single sensor may not be able to catch everything, especially as we're seeing with technologies coming out of the Ukraine and out of Eastern Europe. Like, we know we've got to have multi-layered approaches to this, and that's something that for some of our customers they demand that level of zero tolerance. So we know we have to have a wide variety of solutions.
Well, a couple more things. Number one, kudos to you for being the inaugural chair of the Cross-Section Council for InfraGard and the Counter-UAS. I think that's going to be beneficial because you and I both know that partnership in the private-public realm is what's going to create a better network and information sharing overall. Um, and with that, I would ask, obviously, you and I get to talk a lot in this partnership, but are you going to ISC West?
Absolutely. So it was very eye-opening. I went to the Homeland Security Counter-UAS conference in DC a couple of weeks ago, and got to meet some of the folks that are actually building that national schoolhouse for the Counter-UAS side of the house, to actually writing some of the executive orders that were published in 2025, and are working on some new executive orders and drafting those regulations. And this is a very dynamic time. I think by the time we get to ISC West, we should have hopefully some draft language of what those rules when it comes to mitigation and how the SLTT folks are able to utilize those technologies and what technologies are permissible. I'm hoping we start to see a lot of that come out over the next 4 weeks between now and ISC West. But yes, we will definitely be there. Definitely looking to engage with a lot of folks. We actually do already have. You mentioned the InfraGard National Members Alliance, the Cross-Sector Council. We do have a meetup already scheduled for Chip. I don't remember. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon at 5? That we're going to get everybody that wants to talk about this, and just have a social networking opportunity to see where all this is going. But yes, going to be very active at ISC West for everybody.
Well, and I have to give you a little kudos when you hosted that first webinar. I thought you did a very good job of going over the new NDAA because being as extensive a document as it is, but specifically how it relates to drone detection, some of the funding mechanisms, and some of the new possibilities that will be emerging as far as mitigation, because I know that's the hot topic, if you will, right now.
Mhm.
But plan on seeing you at ISC. Why don't we get together and do a follow-up interview at ISC and just see what the changes are between now and then?
Absolutely. As I said, I do anticipate a lot of changes. So yes, happy to get together. And if you'll put the link to the meetup we're going to have, happy to do something on the sidelines of that, where we may be able to grab some other folks who are very evangelist into the counter UAS space. Maybe get a couple of us on screen then.
Well, I'll do two things. In the link of this video, I'll add number one, that first webinar, the InfraGard webinar, because I think it had like over 1,000 people. I mean, so
It did.
huge turnout there. So I'll put the link to that. But then you and I will coordinate, and I'll put the link to the meetup at ISC. So anybody that wants to join us, we can get together and further those conversations. And I think that'll be good for all.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, Drew, appreciate you stopping by today and taking the time to do the interview. Look forward to seeing you at ISC West, but thanks for stopping by. And for everybody else, thanks for joining into the AirSight channel. More videos to come. Follow-up interview with Drew at ISC West, and we will see you guys later.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care.
Thanks, Chip.